Hey guys. So I'm gonna run some tarot, but this morning the girls and I worked on a couple of the things that we've been working on, and I don't know, this whole thing for me is coming to reality now, and it's something that I have prayed for, right? I knew that I had to clear my table. And if you guys listen to any of the past videos or anything like that, I knew that I had a lot of toxic people around me. But not only that, but I had to recognize my part in it. Why was I attracting negative, toxic people? What in me, as a frequency, as a vibration, because you guys know I talk about frequency a lot, what in me needed to be healed so that those toxic people don't even like try me, you know? So I had to heal a lot of that, and I didn't even know where to start when I started to heal it. You know, I'm like, I don't know, shit, but now I understand it. Now I do understand that everything is a frequency. And if you guys believe in that, I love you. If you do not believe in that, I would say do some homework. Please educate yourself. Please get out of the matrix. I'm telling you that, there's no such thing as frequency. There's no such thing as like quantum jumping. There's no such thing. Like when people start telling me that, or even if I come across anything on any kind of platform, honestly, that starts talking about that kind of stuff, like just downing it, downing frequency, downing ascension, downing, making it seem like it's not real, it irks me so bad. And I guess at this point, I don't know, everything that I have predicted, everything that I have thought about, and even with Gesara and Nesara, even with the quantum QFS, that's coming about. Now remember, you guys, when I first started this, I know a lot of people were like, Lee, you are crazy, and at the time I felt really bad. And I remember talking to certain people about that, like, hey, it really bothers me that like they don't even believe me, even if I've done all of my research, like they really don't believe me, Then in my journey, I started to realize that not everybody is on the same frequency as you. Not everybody is going to be able to see. And that's why I talk a lot about when the universe, God, right? However you think God shows up for you, excuse me. The universe said that not everybody's going to see. Either you have ascended and you have healed and you have come to realize like what's actually reality and what is make-believe and what is illusion. Like, you're not going to be able to see any of that, and the universe is going to show you that. And even like when you're praying and you're saying, hey, like, please show me the people around me that aren't for me, or please show me the places that I'm not supposed to be in. God will, but you have to be able to see it. And, the Bible says if you can see with one eye, it doesn't say two. It says if you can see with one eye, if you can hear, if you can feel, like these are all senses, clairvoyance, claircognizant, all of this stuff, right? Literally has to do with your vessel. Tuning in to the divine spirit of God, to the consciousness of God, right? So I think when I started to realize that, because at the time, I remember like just the toxic people around me, and I would really wonder like, why? What am I doing in my storyline that is attracting these people? Like, what traumas do I have to heal in order to recognize, then understand that they're just playing out their storyline too. If they're playing out their storyline, then they're doing what they're supposed to be doing. Like, you may put somebody on a high pedestal, or you may put somebody in a high regard, but when they start to show you things, it's kind of like you have to look at it, you know. And that was very hard for me, especially whenever it was my parents, you know, because like I saw my cousins have great relationships with their parents and great relationships with, you know, what was like my dad's sister or my dad's brother, you know. And I'm like, how are they having great childhoods and I'm over here, you know, having a horrible childhood, you know, like from the same family? When I started to realize that it is about frequency, and it is about like contracts, and not only just contracts in this physical world, but you have contracts in the ethers too. You have contracts in the spiritual realms too. And then if you come back down, you have contracts here that, since I started talking about, you know, the trust fund and the Cestui Que Trust and Gesara and Nesara, we have contracts down here too. So not only when you're doing your own research and you're going back through what you did, because you can't just put everything off on everybody else. Like, you have to look at your own storyline too. What kind of contract did your parents? Where did the trauma start? The trauma started with your parents, because that's where you were born. That's where you started, right? So not only with that, but on the trust side of it, the Cestui Que Trust side of it, where did the fuckery start? It started when you were born, right? So when you go back and you start to like dismantle even your childhood, then you start to see just things that are kind of sketchy around you too, meaning the government, meaning the schools, meaning the foods that we eat, meaning the music that we listen to, or even the things that we're seeing on television. You know, if you already have a trauma about an abusive relationship or being beat or anything like that, the last thing you need to do is watch a movie that has that kind of narrative, right? Because now you're replaying it in your head. And every time that there's a certain scene, you can relate to that one person. And then you can also go, oh, well, that was that person. Like, you can see the story kind of play out, but it's on TV. I don't want you to detach from it, because if that actually happened to you and you experienced that, that's your story. That's your storyline. You should be able to speak on it, right? Just like in the movies, they're able to speak on things. So when you go back through like your history, you know, like even words, numbers, history, it's his story. Okay, well then what's your story? You know, go back through even at the time that you were born and be like, okay, well, these are the things that I noticed. This is what I couldn't understand. Like, start a journal. You know, my journals are all over the place because I feel like my brain jumps around, clearly. You know, but then I start to make puzzle pieces where I'm like, okay, well, I get that now, because if my dad is this certain way, and the reason why he's like this is because like his dad left them, you know, so it's his mom, which was my grandmother, and then my dad was the oldest, and then you had my uncle and then my aunt. Then you can start to see why my dad was a certain way that he was, because if his dad left, then he has to be the man of the family, when he was actually should have been the child at that time. You know what I'm saying? Like, he should have been able to play out his childhood at that time. But when dad left, he had to put himself in the role of man when he's actually a child. So I can see where the kink kind of came. Like, it was kind of like, ooh, okay, well, that needed to be ironed out. And if he doesn't do that inner healing or that child trauma healing, then he's going to continue those same patterns, master it over time, because with age, you're just going to master it, right? It's going to become just your normal until you realize that either one, something's wrong, two, you're hurting the people around you, and three, what do I need to do to fix it or fix myself or heal myself? You know, he had those choices. Everybody does. So when I went back to even like my mom and my dad, where did my mom start to kind of go south with her storyline? Well, her mom died, you know, I think when she was like 13, something like that. So at that time, now you're having to go through this big trauma of death, and, you know, then you have a stepmother. My stepmom was a monster, but, you know, she had to play that out. Now, again, once you go back and you're an adult, then you can choose to either do something with it positive and vow to never act like that or never be like, you know, whoever raised you. You know, like for me, it was my mom and dad. And then after I was about 17 years old, like I was on my own. So at that time, I had a choice to make, just like everybody does. My dad did, and then so did my mom. But I had to go back to find out what that was. Where did my kink, my hiccup, where did that start? You know, it started at home, you know, and when you heal that and you see it with your third eye, there's an understanding that you have to have, because there also has to be a forgiveness that comes along with that. Because at that point, you're kind of like, I see it. There's not anything that I can do about it. And if it is so, I chose this. I chose this to come down here, to be the black sheep, to be the one that broke out of the matrix, you know. And it's funny because like I talked to my family about it, and they're in the matrix. They don't see anything else than that. And like, that's okay too, right? That's totally okay. But the frequency that you're going to be on is wherever you are. You know, that's why they say like masks, right? You can be at a certain frequency, but if you hold a mask, your body's still at that frequency, right? Your vibration is still that. So you can be or act like you're kind to somebody, or you can act like you're really a nice person, but you're really not. That's a mask, you know. Or to be devious, or to, you know, like people that cheat. That I don't understand that. I don't understand that, because why wouldn't there some sort of communication? You know, there had to have been a lack to have that person run out on a marriage, just like with my dad. My dad cheated on my mom countless times. Why wasn't there a communication? You know, then I noticed in my storyline, I kept getting with people that were cheating on me. And I'm like, I'm literally reliving my childhood over and over and over again. Like, this can't be healthy for my soul, right? But I had to look at it. And there for a while, I didn't want to look at it. You know, it was, I don't want to say frightful, but it was shitty. You know, because I had to come to that conclusion that that's what that is. And if I truly asked to have this contract to break out of the matrix, to be like a curse breaker, you know how they say the curse breaker in the family is usually the black sheep. That's me. That is me, you know. So if you are chosen to do that, and you can recognize it, just like I said earlier in the video with the movies. If you're watching, like, say if you have PTSD and you're watching war movie after war movie after, what are you healing? You know, I don't feel like replaying those same scenarios, those same triggering scenarios in your head is helping you heal. You know, every day, you know what I'm saying? Like, that's just, hey, Ashley, that's just not good. If you're replaying those same scenarios in your head that you have trauma from, you know. So when I talk about like a millionaire frequency, it's a different mindset. It's not lack. It's not feeling worthless. That's not what that is, because I have felt lack, right? I have felt worthlessness. But to me, if you are set and you are aligned properly and you have healed, then to me, it just, now the wealth that you have comes from a kind of a love frequency, because now you can give, help, start foundations, start, you know, I don't want to say churches, because you guys know what I think about churches, but places to retreat to. Like, I've really thought about opening a place for abusive women or even men, somewhere to retreat to, somewhere to run to, because I know with me, I did not have anywhere to run. I was actually asking around, like, some of my friends, like, what do I do? Where do I go? What do I, you know, like, he's isolated me from this for, like, everybody for so long. What do I do? And it's funny to me that the people that said, oh my God, anytime that you need something, let me know. They weren't there. I needed you, and you were not there. So it during that time, that frequency where I'm trying to gauge certain frequencies, you know, I'm trying to gauge these people around me. That's when I started to really notice true colors. And in the beginning of this video, that's what I said. Like, you're gonna notice that when you start asking God for clarity, not only on your own life, I promise you he's going to give it to you for everybody else around you. You're going to see the people that are around you. You're going to see the people that you work with. And the thing is that you already saw them, but at this point, it's like now there's going to be an understanding. There's going to be a click that you, like with me, I put people on pedestals. I made people more than what they are, right? Because I wanted them to be more than what they are. So I was hoping that they would rise to the occasion. No pun intended, raise your frequency, right? Yeah, church is the last place. Yeah. You guys know what I think about church. I mean, if the church in the beginning, let's say in the beginning, decisions, you know, in the beginning, maybe it was a place to go and pray and, you know, like really sit there and sob with God, right? You're in this holy kind of location. But I think over time, and man and Joel Osteen ruined that, you know, like how do you have a huge tornado hit your state and you won't even open your church to the people that are now homeless? Is that because there's tunnels underneath your church and you're part of the problem? You know, like, why wouldn't you have done that? Oh, you didn't want your pews, the cloth on your pews to get dirty from the outside people trying to come, but you didn't have a problem with them pass the plate, write that check, pass that plate. That's when you're nice. But when somebody needs something from you, you're not. That's what I'm saying. That was it. That was the click right there. You're going to start to see the people around you, their true colors. I had to stop putting people on pedestals. I did that. I did that. I don't do that anymore. You know, I allow you to show me who you are. And that's what it is. Thank you. Thank you. It's all I needed. You know, you start popping off at me or telling me that I can't do something when everybody else can do it. You're trying to dictate my life. I saw you. Gotta be quicker than that. You know, do a little quickie because you're done. You're done. I used to give like people little points, you know, like, oh, well, they fucked up. Oh, well, they, you know, well, maybe they have PTSD. Let me give them a little chance. Oh, well, maybe, you know, they just broke up with a bad, let me just I'm done giving people chances because there is a choice. We are adults. We are adults, you know, so that's where I'm at. And the frequency, if everything is a frequency, even down to these cards, if it is a frequency and money is a frequency, wealth is a frequency, luxury is a frequency. Because I remember being around people that do have a lot of money, do have a lot of fiat and stuff like that. And it kind of makes me anxious, kind of makes me feel like, ooh, like I'm not really supposed to be here. This is like Jack on Titanic. Like this is not my level, you know? So over time, I've had to learn I am worthy. I am able to achieve what I'm asking for, you know? Because at this point, with all the things that I've done and all the things that I've said, with Gesara, Nesara, and the quantum financial system, and Michelle Obama being a man, I love that she's in question right now. Do tell, where'd that anaconda come from? I don't have one of those. You know, it's all coming to pass. And, you know, while I was even telling, I would share it with friends, you know, like, oh my God, have you seen this rabbit hole? And this is kind of cool. And oh my gosh, did you hear about it? Like, Michelle Obama's a man, and like, they're lying to the public, and like those kids are not even theirs. And, you know, and then people would be like, well, where'd they get the kids? And I'm like, well, have you ever seen a picture of Michelle pregnant? No, you haven't. Have you ever looked at like their best friends? Isn't it funny that the two daughters, the Michelle Obama daughters, actually look like their friends' daughters? You know, like they match their friends, you know, facial structure more so than the Obamas. You know, so that's my point. That's it. People can put their mask on, but when you see, you got to see. The Bible says you see with one eye. This is your third eye. you know? And of course, they're not going to say that because shit, they took out 45 books out of the Bible, and Enoch, which Enoch is a fabulous, fabulous book that I wish would have stayed in the Bible. But, you know, people that are like, I've read the book front to back. And I'm like, well, you're missing like 45 books. So it's like reading, you know, your favoriteest book ever, and you're missing huge parts out of it, you know? Hey, Tracy, what's up? You know, so the frequency, the wealth frequency is, money is frequency. Call that in. You know, talk to your guides. Heal that part of you. Heal that part of you that makes you feel like you can't have that. Or, you know, some people say, I'm just comfortable with where I'm at. I don't need millions. And I'm like, what? Why would you say that? Because at this point, when mine hits, I have humanitarian projects that I want to do. I want to do the escape house for abusive women and men. I mean, I know it happens both ways. More so, it's women, you know, and I have my humanitarian projects. Now I can do things that benefit other people now too, you know, not just myself. And I feel like when people are in the matrix, they're just like, oh, well, you know, my husband has the 9 to 5 and I have my 9 to 5 and we're just really comfortable. Yeah, I get that. But what are you doing for humanity? Or does that not interest you? You know, I talked to a friend of mine that is not a friend of mine anymore. And, you know, I was talking to her about all the kids, the sex trafficking kids, and the kids that, like, this is their life. They live this on a daily basis. Like, they don't go to the bathroom like normal kids. They have to sit on a 5-gallon bucket to do their business because they're so blown out. Like, when do you want to stand up for them? And she was like, well, I mean, I wouldn't even know where to start. And I'm like, start telling people. Start talking. Start explaining to people that this shit is going on. Wake up people, you know? And she was just so, you know, very comfortable within her own life. And they've got money, you know, in her own little bubble. That's all she needed. She doesn't care about anything outside of her life. And she said that. She's like, that's not my concern. And I'm like, your husband's a police officer. But that's not your concern? Like, you wouldn't want to go and try to figure out, like, the bottom line of all this is? You wouldn't want to do that? No? You don't want to help anybody else other than yourself? I don't know. I just think it's kind of an egotistical kind of, yeah, an egotistical kind of thought process. But when you're breaking everything down, you know, because you have to break yourself down. You have to, like, remember who you are. And I know people are like, you know, when you start to wake up, you're like, I remember who I am now. Like, I understand that I have to see things with my third eye. The Bible says it. I understand now that there are angels and demons around us all the time. Now, no matter if everybody says, you know, oh, you can't practice witchcraft, or you can't, you know, you can't study demonology. Well, how would you know what's around you if you don't study it, or if you don't know it? Like, how do you know that? You don't know that because you don't even know where. You're just like, I'll just give it to Jesus. Well, see, I can't even. I don't even know how to. But if you're supposed to be like Jesus, I'm telling you, I don't get it. Some people's train of thought, I hit a brick wall every time. Yes, wake up, people. You have to. And look, I get a lot of shit from it. I get a lot of kickback. You know, people going, oh my God, Lee, you're so crazy. Or some people are not going to say it to my face. They're going to say it behind my back, but that's okay. That's okay. You know, but when do you stand up for the kids? That I've seen these pictures, you know, even with Hillary and what's her name? Hababadan or something like that. She's really pretty. I think she's Indian or whatever, but it was like Hillary's sidekick filleted a child's face off and stuck it on their own. It's rituals. It's witchcraft. Sorry guys, I do witchcraft, but I don't practice dark side. I don't practice that. I'm on the light side. They're on the dark side. I don't get it. I don't get it. Same with Obama. Think about all the lies that we're learning about now. You know, with Obama or Michelle being a man, and then Obama not even being from here, and then Obama, Michelle, and her name is Michael and Bill Gates, like they're all friends. So it's almost like you have this tribe of people that are all in cahoots with each other, that are doing these horrible things to these children, you know. And I understand that the celebrities are in it. They're very, very puppeted through this. Hey, Spain. I understand that they're using the celebrities as distraction, you know, like, ooh, Britney broke up with Justin, and ooh, this person, you know, like that's distracting us from all this other stuff that's going on. It's like we're easily distracted, you know. Meanwhile, we have all this stuff going on, and then like you see New York getting flooded. Yeah, they're flooding the tunnels. There's a whole world underneath us, literally. You know, if y'all are on TikTok, you saw the guy, the little, I don't want to say little kid, but he's probably in his teens, maybe early 20s, that found a hole in New York City's like sidewalk, and he's down there. There's a whole world down there, you know. But again, like go back to my friend. She's just concerned with doing her real estate in her little bubble, and everything outside doesn't even matter. So in my head, my rabbit hole head, I think, what are you going to say to God when you interface with him? Because he's going to ask you, there's going to be tallies. You know, did you help the collective? Did you help humanity? You know, because we're supposed to be like Jesus, right? Jesus just didn't sit in his little cave like, you know what? I'm Gucci. No, he was out there with the people. He was talking, trying to wake up the people, right? Yeah, it was crazy. There's whole worlds underneath us. And I just don't want you guys to get too, what's the word, comfortable in your life, especially if you feel like you're chosen, especially if you feel like you have a purpose. If you have a purpose, then understand that your world alone is going to be shook, because at one time you were comfortable until God knocked you in the head and was like, you need to wake up, you know. But on the flip side, you probably asked for it. You probably are like, I am sick of this shit. Something is wrong. I know that something's wrong. Please help me understand that. And God's like, oh, and your spirit guys are like, oh shit. Oh, here she go. Heard you bitches were looking for me. You know, like, I'm like, it's gonna get, your whole world's gonna be rocked. And like, that's okay too, because look, got your tower moment. It's gonna happen. When you wake up and you understand that the world around you is an illusion, and go back to witchcraft, it's a spell of illusion. Think about all the narcissistic people in your life that lie, and they do all these things to create this narrative in your head. They're controlling your mindset. They're controlling your thought process. Yes, leave them our soul. And even with that, think about this. When they stamped our little feetsies on the certificate, they took our soul. So on one of the forms, it says that you can actually like stamp your whole ass foot back on a piece of paper and go, I'm alive, and sit. You know, some people do their big toe, and then some people do their whole ass foot. Like, no, I'm all alive. All of it, you know. You gotta like go back. It's like a total rewind. Once you get here and you're aligned and you're like, okay, I get it. You know, like you can see the people around. You can see them literally playing out their contract, right? You're okay with it because like they're doing a good job. You know, it's like you're kind of shitty, but you're doing a great job. But you have to like rewind everything back to like I was saying earlier in this video, back to when you were born, right? When you were born, like on your birth certificate, my birthday's 10/24. It's coming up. I think it's Tuesday. I don't even know because I really don't celebrate my birthdays like that anymore because I understand that they're a spell. They're an age spell, and I don't want to look old. So don't sing that to me. Don't have the little Mexican happy papi. No. We're not happy birthday. That's 3, and then you blow out a candle. That's a spell. But you have to go back to when they registered you with the corporation, right? So on my birthday, 10/24, and then they registered me on 10/26. So that's when that effery started. But then inside your physical, like your human being here, then you have to go back to what was so life altering for me that made me think a certain way or made me do a certain thing. Like what altered my path then, and I would say that because I feel like I had a silver spoon in my mouth then, and then from, I would say probably 16, 17-ish is when my life started to kind of crumble. But it was life altering very quick because my mom moved off to Hawaii and then my dad moved in with his mistress. So I'm like, hey, I'm still 17. Like, where am I going? And my mom's like, you're not coming with me. And my dad, of course, mistress overran that. So, they're like, you're not coming over here. I'm like, hey, like, I'm still in high school. I don't have a job. Like, where am I supposed to go? Did you hear my throat? It's still kind of like, how could you do that to your child? But I understand that now. They had a choice. They played out that choice. But now, like, I have, like, I was going to say street cred. Look, not the word I was looking at. Like, I have street smarts now. I understand, like, I get it. It's like a survival mode out there when you're living in your car and you're going to, parking lot to parking lot, trying to figure out which is safe, and I don't know, it just straight through my head again. Cause I'm thinking, I would never do that to my kid. Not for any, well, I say woman. For my dad, it was woman. But man, for me, I would never. We're supposed to leave the mark here. Oh, yes. Sorry. Reread that. But, yeah. So I had to go back to when was my life-altering moment that really shaped me, that really made me realize that even the people that are in your life, they can discard you too. And that's it. Like you thought that they really cared about you, or you thought that you could be comfortable with your mom and dad, right? Like you see other families around you, they're having, great family life and great, everything's going on. But then you kind of look at yours. You try to keep those people up on that pedestal. You try to keep your mom and dad up on a pedestal. But if they keep falling off and they keep showing their true colors at that point, what else do I have to do? And if I'm trying to be and stay aligned within myself, then I have to be true to what I see, what I feel, what's in front of me, regardless if they're my parents, and then I had to do that with even my friends, because I had a lot of people around me for a long time. And then I started kind of plucking them off like, you're just, I had a friend of mine that I absolutely love. She was so great. We had the best time. And we were both kind of quirky, dorky at the same kind of weird vibration. I'm weird. But something in her life that I did not agree with at all. I didn't understand it. I would tell her that I didn't like that she was doing that. I didn't understand why she was justifying it in her head. Like, why are you making this like okay? Like, it's not okay. Because if anybody else was doing it, you would think that they're a piece of shit. But when you're doing it, you're okay with it, right? Like, it was a cognitive dissonance. And no matter if I tried to talk to her about it or not, it just didn't stick, so I had to let her go. And like I said, like, she was a really good friend of mine, but her behavior was not aligning with mine, and it bothered me, especially when I was coming out of a abusive marriage. She was dating a married man, and I don't know. And the thing is that even whenever she would talk to me about it, like, I would almost cringe because I wanted her to share like her life with me, but that was her life. So it's almost like I didn't want her to, I can't tell somebody, well, you can't share that part. Like you can't share your dirty parts with me. I just want to hear love and light all the time. No, I'm not putting that stipulation on somebody. No. Either you're going to be authentic and share the good and bad with me, so that we can heal and kind of ground the light for each other, or I need to dismiss you and I'm really sorry. Hopefully I'll catch you on the next reincarnation because it ain't going to be this one, Sorry. But then you also have to think too that maybe that was for that period of time. Yeah, you're doing a lot of work. There's a lot of work going on within yourself, and that's good. Look, for the people that are jumping on, you had Tower, that's where you're dismantling all the things around you. You're dismantling the things that are not serving you anymore. And when it doesn't serve you, you can energetically feel that. I can feel that. And if you're sensitive, excuse me, I'm burping, confirmation. If you can feel that energetically, then I would listen to that. Just like whenever you go, like say you're around somebody and they introduce like somebody else to you, like they think that person, I've seen this on TikTok too, they think that person is so great, most excellent ever person, right? But then you meet them and you're like, I feel your energy. Is that a mask? Are you masking with us right now? Because I don't really like you. I don't know if I like what I'm feeling from you, but all these people think you're great, so you're working on yourself. You're working on what's around you. But also, here's where I'm going to dive into this. Wealth, luxury, abundance, things like that is a frequency. And if you at all feel like you are unworthy, and you have to look outside of yourself too, like who told you that you were unworthy? You got to address that too. Because inside, if you're doing this work, you know that you are, but there's like there's a glitch, there's something, there's a hang up, there's a hangnail, there's something. You got to get it out of there. You got to look at it. That's always me. I can spot you, girl. Me too. I'm like, and they're like, oh my God, this is the great person and da-da-da. But did you notice that whenever somebody does that, it's more so of they're a great person because of what they have or what they can do for you. Not that it's a great person like that can energetically like lift your vibration with words, or somebody to be on a team to help you even make your goals. And I'm not saying do it for you. I'm saying to lift your vibration like a cheerleader, like, come on, you can do this. Like, what are you missing? Let me help you, that kind of thing. And I noticed that with people. They'll say, oh my God, they're so great, and they're a doctor, and they're this, and they went to Harvard, and they have jets, and and I'm like, oh, so materialistic. I get it. So you like them because they have material things that you don't have. But have you dug deeper? Like, who are they energetically? Who are they as a person, as a character? Because if it's true and everybody is like down here, almost like an avatar, right? You're an avatar. You're trying to step into your main character role. Well, so is everybody else, right? So what is their main character role when they're alone, or behind closed doors? Because what you show on the outside is totally different than what's behind on closed doors. Most people are going to want to keep a squeaky, reputation of some sort. But again, who is the character? Is it Jekyll and Hyde? Who is the character behind closed doors? Only those people that are behind those closed doors too are going to know, So I'm proud of you to do the work and understand that, yeah, the tower moment's going to happen. You may have to dismiss people that are no longer serving you. You may have to dismiss those people that, are energetically bringing you down. Wealth is a frequency. So like even if like the girls and I were talking about this today, like we were looking up jets, Lears, and cause we were like, okay, well, we don't want to buy one. Like all of us, we don't want to buy one because then we're going to have to buy a pilot. I don't want to do that either. But why can't we rent a pilot? Like, why can't we just, like one of the girls in the group, she must do that because they have a really big family. And she said that because they they go on vacation. Like she has a lot of kids and then like grandkids and stuff like that. Like they'll actually hire a pilot to take them somewhere. So you may pay like $900 versus $11,000. Would it be 11,000? Maybe $11,000? I don't know. How many other tickets or whatever for an actual like Delta? Don't fly Spirit. That's sketchy. That's sketchy. I've seen that shit on TikTok too. Exactly. Sometimes it feels like a curse because I'm just like, sorry to disappoint you, but they ain't who. Yeah, they ain't who. Hold on. See more. Why are we not seeing more? Ooh, Span, I can't do it. I'll look back through my when I'm done. But I agree, you know, and you can feel it. And then you kind of feel like, damn, am I wrong? You know, then you start to doubt yourself. But honestly, doubt is a lower frequency, you know? So it's kind of like, I don't know. I'm just learning to stand strong with even my intuition, what I'm getting when I have readings, or if I'm, you know, doing whatever, even spiritually, I'm learning to really stand strong on what I get, because I've noticed through the healing and then looking back through my life, I knew a lot of things way before they even happened, you know, and I would tell people around me, and at the time they're like, no, that's not going to happen. And then after it happens, I'm like, tinfoil hat. Yes, that did happen, you know. So I think it's a really great time to be alive. Especially for the ones that have woken up and have seen the Gesara and Nesara and have seen the transfer of wealth and things like that. It's happening, you guys. It's happening around us all the time, because even in these groups that I'm in, you know, they'll put in for $1 million, or they'll put in for 5 million or whatever, and they're getting it. Y'all, they're getting it. I've seen it, you know, and then some of the people that are paying off their cars, like they'll go buy a car and then they resend the contract, or they recontract with them, or whatever method that they're doing, and the companies don't have a leg to stand on. But we didn't know that. We didn't understand that. And now that we're learning that, like all of this work that you're doing, it's coming to fruition. And I'm sure that you had anxiety in realizing like, oh shit, like I was right about this. You know, it kind of makes you go, so cool. Did you hear it? But you know, it kind of makes you start to have like, damn, I'm pretty good. You know, I understand my strength now. You know, and even if they say you have strength in Jesus, you do. Because think about it. If Jesus did the same thing, and to me, the Bible is like, he's our example. He's not my God. He's my example. And Jesus is not God, because if why would he say our Father? He's not God. You know, like if you and I are sisters and I was saying our Father, that doesn't make you my father, you know, like, but people, cognitive dissonance, they don't get it. They've been taught that Jesus is the God, when he clearly in the book said, don't put any gods above, don't put anybody above me. Wait, I think God said that. I think God said, don't put anybody above me. I don't know. Now my scriptures are getting, anyway, y'all that know the book, understand what I'm saying, you know. And there's fear and anxiety, a little bit of negativity, you know, deep unhappiness when you're going through this transformation. It is a transformation because you're realizing that, holy shit, like this is really a thing, you know. And I know you guys have heard where people will say, you know, nobody's coming to save you. That's true. You got to save yourself. You do. You know, you have to go through the crap like Jesus did. You have to see that people will turn on you, that people will sell you out, that people will betray you, that people will just do the most horriblest thing ever to you, you know? And then once you realize that, and then you have the worst betrayal and you're hung there on the cross for all the fucking world to see, embarrassed, humility, right? When those people do that to you, understand that there's karma that's coming on the back end of that. But then now you rise in spirit. Now you're elevating. Now you are ascending because you're like, I see it. You know? They ain't who they are. Right? He said that we will do greater works. Yeah, he said, is it greater works? Hold on. I'm trying to think of the... you will do greater things than I. Yes, you're right. You're right. Yeah. So even he gave us the power. He was saying, look, you guys are going to do some badass things better than me. You know? So if that's so, then how is Jesus is not our God. You know, especially when you have God in the beginning saying, hey, this is what I'm going to make. And he actually talked to the other gods and was like, what do you think? You think we should do this? You think we should put the dome over the flat earth? I do think it's flat. I do. The more and more down the rabbit holes, I'm convinced. Especially when you have like the globe and you see like the sun and the moon and it's turning. Or did you see the thing where the guy was in the cave and he had a balloon, he popped it and it sounded like lightning because it's all echoing within the dome? We were lied to. We were lied to so bad. Even about our banking system, even about schools. Schools look so much like prison. Like, it's almost like, it makes me sad. It makes me wish that I would have homeschooled my kids. Not that I don't know. I don't know if I would have been able to do that because I'm not good with English. I don't know where the comma goes. But, you know, like, I wish I would have been able to do that. But I was a single mom. And my parents didn't help me with my kid, you know. So not putting that off on them. I did what I had to do, you know. And they did what they did, you know. So it's what it is. And just like for even Brandon, my son, he has to go through all the things that he's going through too. Ding. You know, he has to, cause he asked to be down here, you know, and God was like, what kind of life do you want? Oh, you want a single mom? She's going to be working 3 jobs. Are you okay with that? You're going to be bouncing in and out of daycares. You okay with that? Okay. You know, so he has a contract too. And the frequency that you start to rise on, or, you know, you start to get on this almost wave, and then you're like channeling stuff, and even like your spiritual gifts start to become more fluent. And like, I swear to God, I was in Target the other day and I'm sitting there and I heard what was like conversation behind me, and I turned around to look and there was not anybody there. So I'm like, okay, you know, is it? And then in my head, I'm like, okay, all right, guides, like, if you're going to speak to me, I need you to bring your energy in a little closer because I'm in Target. I need to hear you a little clearer. So I need you to bring your energy in a little more, you know, like come down a little closer to me. Or I could even be hearing stuff like just telepathically, people talking, you know, and in most cases, people will say, you know, oh, you're just skits. Are you hearing voices? And I'm like, didn't Jesus? Like, who are you praying to? You know? Yes. And didn't God, isn't it that, you know, when you hear God, it's going to be a soft whisper. Yeah, that's what I hear. And that's why I tell them, you got to come in closer. You need, you know, but people, it's cognitive. They don't want to think that that's going to happen for them. You know, although it's in the Bible, you're going to hear God's voice as a small whisper, but not for you. But not for you. Like that little portion in the Bible ain't for you. Were you indoctrinated to think that we're not supposed to be hearing voices? Oh, you're going to go to the Looney Tune. Yeah, Spain, I know you do. I know you do. I hadn't even met you, and you're good people. That's why I messaged you. That's why, because I started to write down my list of people that, like, I can really, I know what I'm doing. You know? That's why a lot of times, even on Page of Cups, got some communication coming in. Even online, when people come back, that they'll say, you know, well, you content creators will only get us so far and then you don't respond, or all of a sudden you'll go ghost. Yeah, you're damn right. Because if the feds show up and they have me sign an NDA, you bet your ass I'm going dark. Okay, so Page of Cups is child, inner child, youthfulness, sensitivity, dreamer, inner voice. Everything that come on. That's what you have to listen to. That's what you have to, like, you have to be, and I had to do this because I'm ADHD, clearly the way that I speak, but I had to learn to still myself. I had to be still. And then I guess whenever I was waiting in Target, because I don't like customers that are like right here when I'm trying to put my credit card in, like I'm like, why are you here though? Like, why here? Like, there's a whole, like, back up, Sylvia, you know? And that I'm way back. Like, I give the person all their room that they need. They can do flips in the aisle. I don't care. I'm not even close to them. Also, another reason is because I don't want to be in their aura. So I'm going to give you a lot of space, but that's when I heard it. I could hear like mumbling, like it sounded like females. Exactly. Give me my space. Yeah, I can't. It's a lot for me to be even in stores anywhere at this point. So I do give space. I do try to like walk around people. I will walk around a whole aisle to not have to walk past somebody. Isn't that crazy? I don't want your demons, bruh. And then the other thing is this Page of Cups is also an admirer. So you may have somebody that's admiring you right now. You know, watching your growth, watching your alignment, because people do need somebody else to like kind of fashion after, or kind of think like, hey, you know, like this person's doing it, you know, to kind of give them hope, right? So like with the Gesara and Nesara, or with the QFS system or anything like that, like when I came out, you know, talking about it, I did lose a lot of friends, and I felt like, damn, do people not really see all of this stuff? Like, we really need to be talking about this. And, you know, I feel like people need to have somebody else, because, you know, just to kind of go, okay, well, she sees it too, you know, or whatever, just to have somebody else, because this road is very isolating. You know, you really start to feel like you're the only actual human on earth and everybody else are NPCs. You know, you're kind of like, am I the only person on earth right now? Yeah, I used to do Instacart all the time, or even like DoorDash, just so that I don't, people stand up, wait to get back. I kind of like that whole 6 foot thing. Like, you don't need to be like in my aura. You don't, you know, especially whenever I was healing, because I felt very fractured, and I felt like people would just come up like, and then after even them standing there, I would feel drained. I would go back home right after, like, say I just left Target, and I would sleep. I would need a little nap. Like, damn, that took a lot out of me. You know, that's hard. So in your patience of aligning yourself and understanding, like, you do have a mission, and girl, you are literally like the second person I could talk to. Yeah, see? And it's good. It doesn't make you feel like, oh my God, thank God there's another actual human on the earth I found too, you know? It's hard. Because even whenever I talk about this with people, like, because I just want to help everybody. I just want to help everybody, you know, get to where it's abundance, where it's millions. Like, at this point, you could start giving money away, and it won't even, like, it won't even dent anything. That's where I want to get, because I want to be able to go to dinner and maybe give the waitress a $500 check, like tip, or $1,000 tip, or, you know, whatever I'm feeling led to do, wherever I'm feeling divinely guided to do, then do that. Because at this point, I've learned to listen to his small, still voice. And now it's almost like he has given me this knowledge, because he knows that I have done the work. I have done this kind of stuff. I did isolate myself so that I can work on myself. I wasn't out here dating after my divorce. That's toxic as shit. No, you just got out of a 12-year marriage and you're going to jump out into the streets and start dating? Like, who's the problem here? You know, like, but that's it. There's your sign. There is your sign, you know, and that's another TikTok. You know, if you want to find out who the toxic one was, see what they're doing afterwards. Are they educating themselves? Are they growing? Are they healing? Are they bettering themselves? Or are they still the trash where you left them, where you found them? You know, All right, last one. You guys, the frequency of money is there. I want you to align yourself and lift, okay? A lot of the people that are around you are not going to be in that mind frame, but you are, right? You are, because you know that there's actually an end goal. You know that there's actually the Cestui Que Trust out there. You know that there's actually Gesara and Nesara. Why? Because you've done the work. You've done the research. You've looked on Cornell University law. You guys, I'm not getting this off of AliExpress, okay? This is literally Cornell University law. And even when I start quoting out 31 USC 3123, all bills are prepaid and obligated by the government, people are like, what? No, get a job. I'm like, I don't, what? A what? What is that? No, I'm not doing that. Fun to think about. That was fun. You know, but you've done the work. You've done all the things. Hey, Daniel, you've done all the things that you need to do to align yourself to become, you know, that person within yourself. And it's not for anybody else. It's not for anybody else, because you know at the end of the day, when you interface with God, it's not going to be you and everybody else standing there. It's going to be you and God. So what did you do? How did you help humanity? Like I said earlier, Jesus was helping the humanities. Not a word. Not how that went. See? Hooked on phonics. You know, that's just what it is. There's a lack of balance, lack of like a poor financial decision. There can't be that. There can't be a poor financial decision. There has to be a, I'm going to run one more because now this just tripped me up. You have to stay on that same frequency. You know, if you have a poor decision within your, maybe it's giving to somebody that doesn't deserve it. You know, maybe it's casting your pearls to swine that aren't going to hear it. God said not everybody's going to see. And when I think about that and I break down even that scripture, I think about, okay, well, God is the universe, right? So the universe says not everybody's going to see. So let's break that down again. What is that? That's a frequency. It's a frequency to see. Because, you know, whenever I started out in all of this, I like to use my hotels, like a hotel floor all the way up, as an example of Ascension. So the bottom floor is the lobby, and the bottom floor is like chaos. You know, it's kids screaming, you forgot your papers, you know, or, you know, your kid at home, I don't know, whatever. You know, it's a lot of chaos on that bottom floor. Say the first floor, you know, it's okay, but you're going to hear people coming and going because maybe the stairwell, you're right next to the stairwell. As you go up and you start to remove the toxicities from your life, you're going to be able to see further. So say now I'm all the way up on floor 7, and I've done the work, right? I've done all the things that I have to do. Also, I can see further. I can see over the trees. I can see further into the sunset. I can see further down the beach. You know, if you're in the lobby and you reside in the lobby where it's very dense and kids are screaming and people, you could feel the anxious, you can feel it. I can feel it. As soon as I walk into the lobby, I'm like, whoa, oh my God. But as soon as I get up to the 7th floor, I'm like, doo, doo, doo. You know, you can see it. So that's what I want you to think whenever you're doing this ascension, when you're doing the alignment, when you're cleansing yourself, your aura, your own aura, when you're cleansing yourself, it's not anybody else, because remember, you're going to be the one that's interfacing with God, with this universe. You're going to be interfacing with them. I say them, all the gods. I mean, I don't know. I would love to see, I mean, she's dark though. She's Hecate. Like, I love Hecate. And then I also love Athena. Both of them helped me through a lot. Yeah. Right? We're going to get a plane, Spain. It's so exciting. Get a jet. We're going to get one. No, it's not. We're not getting it. We're going to get a pilot, a driver. And then we're just going to hire them to come and get us, so that, like, if you have your house out in Europe, your big sprawling mansion with grapes, then I think that's Italy. Sorry. See, not education. So you're out here in Europe, and then I'm going to go Spain. I'm going to come and see you. Then I'm going to tell Harold to go get the plane and come and pick me up. I will meet him at the airport, right? Because there's a little private airport right down the street from me. And I'm like, take me to Spain. Take me there, darling. Yeah, penthouse. I don't want to be on the first floor. It's too dense. I don't want to be around people that are willy fucking nilly out here in these streets raw dogging it. I don't want it. I don't want it. I've been there, seen it, all the things, but I don't want it anymore. It's icky. I'm tired of having to look over my shoulder to see if somebody has thrown I was gonna say a staple in my back. I mean, if that's how you throw aggression. Staples. Where did that come from? So silly. So I'm going to do 3 because the first one came down as a tower, and then you also had Page of Cups, which is also communication, and that's okay. Communication can also mean maybe your higher self that is trying to say something to you to open up like your mind. Knight of Wands upside down. Was that for me because it was like arrogant? Yes, we're going to have planes. Okay, planes, trains, and automobiles. You know, says a show off. Okay, so let me see this. Because, okay, so let me say this. When we get this, when we achieve this, right? When we understand how to play the system, because when you get out of that narcissistic relationship, you have mastered it. Because not only have they done anything in their power to break you, but you've done everything in your power to survive it. So you had to master his tics, when he, whatever, right? Everything, you've mastered it too. So when you realize all of this and you start to get on this higher playing field where you are literally a millionaire, right? A millionaire, there's credits, right? Don't think about fiat. You can't pay debt with a debt. We're talking about credits, right? Money, sure, we'll talk it. We'll say it's that way, but you can't be overly arrogant about it. The vibration doesn't need to be mean, rude, show off. It doesn't need to be that. It needs to be where you're helping, where you're, humbled, because at this point you wouldn't have got that had you not been aligned, seeing with God, that channeling that spirit. I remember saying to him, please give me the next piece of the puzzle, because I was down the rabbit hole for so long and I was like, I don't understand, because if Gesara and Nesara rolls out and you're telling me that it's going to level the playing field, how does it level the playing field? If the banks don't have the money and the government doesn't have the money, how does this level the playing field? And then I came across the Cestui Que Trust and I was like, thank you, God. That was it. That was it. That was absolutely it. That was the last little puzzle to the piece. Yeah. Did you catch that? Puzzle to the piece. Dyslexic. She doesn't know where the comma goes. She makes up her own words. It's crazy. It's so crazy. It's amazing. It is such an amazing time to be alive. You're damn right. 3 of Pentacles is teamwork. When everybody comes together that's on this higher vibration, did you notice that you lost a lot of the toxic people that are in your life, but then you gained people that all of a sudden, people that would randomly show up or cross your path and you're like, where have you been? But we had to all get on this floor 7. We all had to go up to that floor. However we got there is how we got there, but we here now, right? Teamwork. We all did this work. We had to make choices. The choices that we made, it was either going to be good for us or bad for us. But I feel like we've mastered it so much at that point. You're like, no, we're going to make good choices. We're going to get rid of the toxic people that are in our life. And I hate to do it, but heard you bitches was looking for me. Here I go. Exciting. And then even when you realize religion and stuff like that was all a distraction to make you feel like you have to wait for somebody to come and get you. Jesus is coming back. I'm just gonna still be a piece of shit, but he's coming back. I don't feel like that's what that was. I feel like you need to be a good human and heal yourself and get rid of some of your demons. Jesus ain't saving you like that. You've got to save yourself. You have to save yourself. He's coming for me. Is he? Because I don't think he's going to be on the first floor. Two of Cups. Love. Eternal peace, love, joy, happiness, all the high frequency vibrations. It makes my heart just happy. Everything is in alignment. Everything, and even today I was talking to a friend of mine and he was like, he's looking for some car. I think it's like a Lexus or something like that. It's like a little snazzy car. It's way out of my price range. While I'm in the 3D. Once this shit starts hitting, I could probably buy a couple of them. But he was telling me that he's kind of scared to do this because he's a kindergartner. He's real new and he's just learning it. And I said, you've got to learn it. You've got to go out and talk to people and make a fool of yourself because you're going to reach people that do not understand it, but you just have to learn to carry yourself. You have to learn to speak. When we were learning to walk, of course we fell. When we were learning to talk, we didn't use the right words. Clearly I haven't mastered that. But, we have to stumble. We have to learn to get our footing, and when you do, then it's then you can speak the language, then you can walk the walk, and you can say hey, I understand how to get on the private side. I understand what humanity is. I understand how to give back to community, how to make a humanitarian project. All of this is part of Gesara. All of this is part of the QFS system and the Cestui Que Trust and the blockchain, and all. Our whole world is changing completely. So if you guys are not wanting to see it and you're like this, then all the people that are crawling and learning to walk and learning to talk, I hate to say it, but you guys are going to then look at these people because the old system's going to fall away. God wanted us to inherit the earth, but they came and took it. Think about it. Have you ever went on a field trip and the people say it says, Abraham Lincoln found this. He found it. It wasn't his. It wasn't his. So if you come into my house and you pick this up and you're like, well, I found it, and then you walk out, it's not yours. You stole it, right? So when we start to get all of this, we start to channel the information and get the actual truth out of all of this, you're going to realize that the people that were here first are not actually the people that were told to you that were here first. I feel like it was more of the melanated people, not the crackers. Okay, wasn't us. It was us that came in here and we're like, oh, well, we found it. So it's ours now. No, it's not yours. Everything has to be dismantled. Everything has to go back to where it was supposed to be started, right? Just like I said earlier in the video, we have to go back to whenever we were traumatized. We have to go back to our birth certificate whenever everything started to become a fuckery. What happened? You got to change that. We have to authenticate it. We have to claim it. We have to put our stamp, our thumb to say, hey, no, we're alive. Because right now they have you dead. They have you dead at sea. Admiralty law, right? You have to go back and go, no, I'm alive. Some people don't want me to be alive, but I'm alive. Hate it, But yeah, that's the frequency. And when you carry that, and you start to take back your power, even within your family line, they're not going to be happy with that because what you're doing is you're stirring up the narrative with truth. And right now, they're very comfortable in their lies, right? Because that's how the family's always been. We don't talk about it. We don't talk about the abuse. We don't talk about the lies. We just go with it and allow that person to be the same piece of shit as they were. Which then now you are enabling that abuser to do whatever the hell they want to do. You're giving them power. You're giving them energy. When you back up and you go, I'm not giving you energy anymore. I'm not allowing you to behave that way. You're putting up boundaries. You're saying, we're not doing that. That was fun. It was fun for a while. Took me on a merry-go-round, but I'm stopping it right now. That's also the curse breaker. That's also the person that's like, I'm done, finished. And now you can go around to the family and try to tell them that, hey, this is wrong. They shouldn't be doing this. They shouldn't, they're doing this, trying to warn certain people. But again, if they do not see, their eyes are closed, they're blind. They're not going to see it. So you have to allow people to do their own contracts. Do your contract, whatever they're doing. Same thing with methods and processes with the Cestui Que Trust. Let people do their processes. There's several QSIP numbers, countless. You have countless. So it's not even like you have one. You do have a main one, but then you have all these other ones underneath you. So don't feel like, oh, well, this person said the only way to get the QSIP number is this way. Okay, well, they're stupid because there's other ways to do that. I don't want to say they're stupid. That was mean. They're ignorant. There's other ways to do that. They're just in their ego saying, mine is the only way. No, it's not. Stop lying to these people. So I love you guys. Luxury, wealth, all of that is a frequency. And you have to click your mind into it, because now you're not on the 7th floor anymore. You may be on the 9th floor. You're about to come into some big ass money with a lot of commas and a lot of zeros. And that may scare you too, because you may not have ever had that. I haven't ever had that. So now I'm like, oh shit, well, what would I do with it? Then I start thinking about all the people in my life that have blessed me, that have helped me along my journey, that have really like poured wisdom into me or held me accountable for things. I respect people like that can pull me to the side privately and go, Lee, you're fucking up. You need to quit doing this. Or, Lee, I love what you're doing behind closed doors, right? You never want to out somebody or have that private conversation with somebody like that in public. For me, if you want to do it, rock on. But for me, I would pull you to the side and say either you're fucking up or you're doing great. Because it's not for anybody else, Just like as a psychic medium, I would never reach out to you for a reading. My guides have spoken to me. What? First of all, it's bad etiquette to do that. So anybody that's trying to scam you, no, don't. That's not me. So I love you guys. High frequency. Tonight, your homework is to look at beach houses and planes and jets and think about the place that you would want to go. Where would you want to fly? Where would you want Harold, your now pilot, to take you to and fro? Get in, loser. We're going shopping. Start looking at those. I need your eyes, your 3D eyes, to start to recognize that. Down here, I don't want to say in Peasantville because I'm doing very well, but in your little bracket of life, right? You're comfortable. I want you to look up beach houses. It doesn't even, maybe you want a cabin. Look up cabins. And I want you to imagine in your head what it would look like. Would you have like a chandelier full of antlers? I love those. I think they're really pretty. Like when they first, Barcelona. I'll have Harold come and pick me up and bring me to you in Barcelona, Spain. But yeah, I want that to be in your imagination, because what you imagine, you can create. You can create it. You can manifest it. It's just like vision boards. Same. You're just on Pinterest. I already started my vision board on Pinterest, and it has, I think, like 3 beach houses. And it's funny because even with like this morning, I put in for the 5 million. And I started looking at like different beach houses, and like some of them are sprawling, and I've lived in sprawling houses, and I don't like that. I would rather live in a tiny house. I like tiny houses because I feel comfortable there. So I looked at very like slender houses, because in Florida they're all like stacked up like next to each other or whatever. But I don't think I'm gonna get a big sprawling, but it will definitely be on the beach. I don't want to be in the cold, so I don't want to be up in the mountains. So Spain, if you want to get the mountain house, and I'll have Harold fly me out there in the mountain house, but this girl don't need to be cold. I can't be cold. So anyway, you guys, I love you, and I will always meet you on the flip side.